Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a 23-year-old competitive boulderer from Canada, currently living in Montreal. Welcome back to the COMPCLIMB training series, where I record most of my training, provide in-depth analysis of every session, and just chat about climbing with an emphasis on competition. So, hello. In the last episode of COMPCLIMB, I mentioned that we were going to be doing a comp, as you can see on this little program outline. It was called the Canyon Masters. And I said there was no promises that we would get footage, and it is looking like there will not be a video from the competition. We had Loy was competing in the qualifiers and was also getting some rage content during finals. So there's some Instagram edits that I'll link in the description below, but nothing that we can necessarily use for a YouTube video. It was a really fun event. Kind of bummed that we couldn't make a video out of it, because it was definitely some cool boulders and some strong climbers. But yeah, go check out the Instagram highlights, and they're very well done and will give you a pretty good depiction of what went down. But anyway, the long story short, if you don't want to go check out the Instagram stuff, was that Maddie and I finally got a double win. It's been a long time since we have been able to do this. I think the last time, it was actually literally right when the COMPCLIMB series was starting. We did a local competition at West in Victoria called the Tour de Bloc, and that was, like over a year and a half ago or something. And so it's been a long time. Sometimes Maddie will win and I'll be third, and sometimes I'll win something and Maddie will be second or something. And so we finally got the fun married double win. And then yes, now here we are today, a couple days later, for some training at Bloc. And I was very much looking forward to this session. And the reason for that is, usually after I have a successful comp, even just a comp in general, I really get like my comp juice is flowing, and a lot of my skills are actually very heightened, especially the comp style movement sort of stuff. And I've talked about this in the past, and is just such an awesome feeling and a really cool phenomenon. It's like my instincts, I always like to put percentages on things, are maybe heightened by like 20%, maybe 25%, but I really feel it. Like even when I'm warming up today, I feel really bouncy on the wall. I feel like my body is acting faster than my mind can even realize what's going on. And it's just a really awesome feeling. So I usually am always looking forward to the session of bouldering, like immediately following a competition that goes well, because I know that I'm also usually going to have like a really good session of bouldering. And that was the case today. And it's also why after this morning session of climbing at Bloc, we're going to go to Beta Bloc and hop on a really difficult project. And I am doing this intentionally because I know that I'm probably going to be feeling like really good, moving really well on the wall. And I want to take advantage of that when we go try this boulder at Beta Bloc. And it's also very nice during this morning session at Bloc. Man, it's just crazy. Every time I think, oh yeah, I was just here at Bloc a week ago. Maybe there'll be one or two new sectors set. There's just always so many new boulders, even if I'm gone for just a week. Like it was maybe like a week ago or just over that we had cleared everything in this gym. It doesn't happen very often, but I'd managed to do all the boulders in Bloc. And now there's like 4 new sectors that I haven't tried, and like 3 double-digit boulders, and a couple like awesome V9s and stuff. It's just so nice. The 3 days a week of setting is just super epic here. And this boulder that we're getting on here is probably my favorite up in the gym right now. This one is super cool. Super, super fun. It has a very fun starting move that's super my style. Just like a distance campus move to some pretty positive holds. And it's funny how on these videos, I kind of make the first move look kind of chill, but it's really hard. Every time I hit those two like slopey jugs, I feel like right on the edge of tipping off, and I kind of have to tuck my head down a bit and do a bit of a scorpion and just hope that I don't like whip out of these two holds. Yeah, like a really cool first move. And I could tell that my like heightened comp instincts were really coming in clutch on this first move and helped me stick it relatively fast. And then the ending of this one actually proved a bit more tricky than I thought. It looked like there were a few options to go to the finish hold, and I saw that I could do something with the toe hook early on, but I neglected to try it. And so when I finally tried setting the toe hook first to go to the finish hold, it worked out pretty well. And yeah, that one was set by Chris, and a super fire boulder, like super satisfying, a super pure, just like nice power boulder. Camp a start, a couple crimp moves, and then a little subtle toe hook to go to the finish slope. A really, really nice one. And yeah, we're moving into another nice one here. This one I was ready to get like destroyed on when we were approaching it. I have notoriously struggled on the friction dependent boulders that they set here at Bloc with these red flat holds. Usually anytime you see a double digit boulder with this line of hold in this gym, we're going to be working through some staticky moves, maybe some tension, some important body positioning, and some creative ways to like basically position your body to actually hold onto these super terrible holds. And you can see this boulder is a great example of this, because this left hand sloper is absolutely terrible. And you can see I'm trying to find this drop knee in order to be able to hold this left sloper whatsoever. And here I'm like finally trying to see, okay, can I just skip this drop knee sequence altogether and do a big jump off the crimp? But the setters did a nice job of really making you have to do this left hand on the sloper, drop knee, and come into the crimp move. And here, check this out. That was a pretty close attempt. And if you'll notice, I kind of did an off balance drop knee sort of thing. So the setter was watching me try this. I don't know if Chris set this one as well, but he was giving me beta on it. And he told me that I should drop my left knee while I come in right hand to the crimp. And this seems kind of not counterintuitive, but doesn't easily come to mind, because typically with a drop knee move, we drop the knee of the arm that we're moving in the sequence. But this ends up being a really cool situation where it's actually better to do the opposite. And you can see it's finally working for me here. And then I gotta keep it together for this tricky little jump. But yeah, for the tip of the day, we'll talk more about this sort of opposite drop knee kind of move at the end of the episode. For those who have missed the past few episodes, I've talked about how we're doing the tip of the day at the end of the episodes now, and I'm experimenting with this and see how it goes. So yeah, we'll revisit that idea of the like opposite drop knee sort of move at the end of the episode. And yeah, like I was saying, it wasn't just some power boulders up. There were some tricky, techie looking V9s up in the gym as well. And we have a slab here. And honestly, V9 slab at Bloc is one of my favorite styles of boulders to get on. They always set like really creative comp style, really good slabs in the V9 range especially, that usually like really test me quite well. And they're like really good at nailing the difficulty of slabs in this gym. Like they always distinguish V8 slab from V9 slab really well, in my opinion. Like this is just a perfect V9 slab at Bloc. It ended up taking me just as long as a V9 on the slab will normally take. And yeah, it's especially tricky, this one here. You can see there's a lot of options for this middle move, like the crux move. I was trying a foot cross through method, which is usually pretty anti-style. I'm not so good when we're crossing our feet through. I was going to try running on top of the little triangle volume as well. But you can see I found something that is definitely more my style. and I've been realizing this a lot recently as well, is when it comes to these sort of hopping moves like this, my strength, the way I like to approach these moves is to like do a foot hop and basically lean over on the foot that we're going to jump off and then just jump again and land on whatever foot we're going to. Now, this is almost like a very powerful way to do this kind of move. It is like, feels very risky, and it feels like if you miss the foothold you're jumping to, you could maybe land not so nicely. It's kind of sketchy feeling, but it's also kind of like leg powerful intensive as well. And I also think it's my style because of how much I train pistol squats, right? If I just land my right foot on that good foothold that we're jumping to, the strength that I've built in my legs from all the pistol squats, I'll be able to stabilize really well in that position and sort of catch it as a one leg pistol squat sort of move. And yeah, that's usually how I like to approach these sort of moves. But I know like Seb Lazur did the foot cross through method, which is really interesting. But yeah, a really good one. And then I was at my capacity for this session, pretty much. It was just an hour session of bouldering. But I wanted to put a couple tries on this one because it looked cool. And it was the last of the hard boulders that were new for me. And I said, maybe I'll go like 5-10 minutes over time, try this a bit. But I ended up like really getting in the groove of this boulder, and it was really enticing me, and I wanted to keep trying it. So we ended up going like pretty overtime in this morning session. I think I climbed for an hour and a half. I think I probably tried this boulder for, like 25 minutes. And it was definitely a lot harder than it looked. This move to the sloper is really tricky. The volume that we're standing on is quite bad. And at first I'm thinking that we're trying to paddle through this sequence, but I later realized it's better to just stop on this first sloper and then do another foot stab. But yeah, the foot stab is especially tricky because of the angle of the black volume. It's like not how you want it. And I was getting tired at this point, and I knew that I needed to either try really hard and send this boulder right now or stop and save energy, because the big goal of this day was definitely to try and send the project at beta block that we're going to try in this next session. So I'm trying to balance like trying really hard to send this yellow boulder, but also I want to save energy to feel strong for the beta block project. So we get to the point where I've been trying this boulder like way over time, and I still haven't stuck this move. I'm pretty close, but I know that I need to start saving energy for the second session. So we move on. But yeah, I definitely want to come back and try this yellow one again because that was really fun and kind of like a hidden gem. That boulder looked kind of simple, but the lay backing on the volume and the smearing techniques were like really intricate, and it was really well set. And honestly, that boulder is kind of like men's World Cup qualifier style of boulder. Maybe if it had like one more move or something, that would be copy and paste World Cup boulder. So yeah, that was a really well set one. But anyway, here we are. So we've tried this boulder before a few episodes ago, for those who remember. Now this one is crazy. So in the last episode, I was able to do it from like the second move, just hanging on the first hold and the second hold. I could do it to the top, but that doesn't mean much because the first move is absolutely the crux and is a ridiculously hard move. So also really quick, you notice how I did a jump sequence to get to that last hold before the lip. The reason for that is because it was also like the inspiration for coming to retry this boulder. So Victor, who's the head setter here at Beta Block, put up a little video of him like crushing this boulder. He fell going to the hold before the lip from the start, and I think he said he stuck that move individually. I'm not sure, but anyway, he did it he was like trying it as a jump move. So he has to jump out to this hold before the lip and hold a crazy swing. Whereas in the last episode we were trying this, I was able to do a fat drop knee and just static it. But honestly, it feels kind of lame to do it like that, especially seeing Victor try this like jump beta. I said to myself, I'm only going to count this send for me if I do the jump beta and do it in like the way Victor was trying it and like the true essence of the boulder. So I have my work cut out for me. I have to try and stick this mega crux of a first move, which I like. Seeing Victor do the move was so motivating, and now knowing that it's possible, it allowed me to really try like hard on this first move. And then I also had to do like a harder way at the end of the boulder if I made it up there. So anyway, you can see this is Victor. This is the setter of this boulder and the head setter at the gym. And so for those who haven't heard me say this yet, he is incredibly strong, and particularly on pinches. He's strong all around, but his pinch strength is actually just out of this world. You can see he was trying to give me some advice on how to do this first move. And one of his bits of advice was he was telling me to try and grab this left hold, the start hold, a little bit more to the right. And he said that it was like the good spot of the hold, but in my opinion, it was the worst part of the hold. And the fact that he did the move, grabbing that crap part of the hold, is absurd. Like, I actually can't even imagine. So anyway, the point is he's really strong on the pinches. And I like want to match his sticking of this first move so badly. I'm trying this move so many times, as you can see. I'm trying really hard, but it's such a weird move. The left hand pinch is so strange and like contorts your wrist into this weird position. Okay, check out my left hand here. So this was the absolute key for me. Notice how I'm ditching the pinky. So this is what I was getting at. The pinch really contorts your wrist into this uncomfortable position, and I was just not feeling strong or stable in it. But as soon as I start trying this move with just a 3-finger pinch, it puts my wrist in a much more neutral position, and I feel way stronger. And you can see I'm getting real close to sticking this move now. But I discover this technique like 50 minutes into trying this boulder, and I'm gassing out hard. And I'm like, no, I want to stick this move so bad. I'm trying to chase Victor right now. And I just like, I'm like, okay, I got to do it right now. So I try real hard, and you can just see how desperate I am, barely holding onto this first move. And then I get some nice adrenaline kicking in. And like I said, I am committed to trying this move as a jump. Otherwise, it doesn't count as a send in my books if I just do like a static up to this next hold. But yeah, as you can see, it is really difficult to do that move from the start. It's like, I'm pretty good with my power endurance. I think that definitely goes for me. I think it's possible, but like an hour and 15 minutes into trying this boulder, no chance will I have the gas. So I was satisfied with just doing the first half. But now the fact that I discovered this 3-finger pinch beta, I think that I could actually send this boulder, which I didn't think was actually possible for me when I first started trying it. So maybe if there's enough time, I want to squeeze in one more session before we leave for Europe, and it'll be really epic to try this thing again. Because I think with the 3-finger pinch and freshness, I could do this one. And this could potentially be like one of the freaking hardest boulders I've ever done, man. It's so hard, so epic. And shout out to Victor for setting such an epic boulder and helping me work on it. But anyway, let's jump into whatever the next day of training is that we're looking on the screen and pass it to future Zach. So here we are the next day. And if you're paying attention to the little program outline, we sort of highlighted the campus session, and now here we are fast forwarding to the workout. So I did go and do a campus session at Bloc Shop Hochelaga on the spray wall, and oh boy, did I really not set myself up for a nice day of training today by going overtime in the first day of training in both sessions and trying a lot of boulders and some really hard boulders. I was absolutely fried for that campus session, and it was so bad I basically didn't budge off the start holds of anything that I attempted, and it was like 20 minutes long. and I was just feeling tired and beat down and decided to not make a video out of it. So we're just fast forwarding to the workout. Yeah, it's definitely hard to be strict on these sorts of programs sometimes, especially when you love climbing so much. And like yesterday, or in the first 2 sessions of this episode, we did a lot of awesome bouldering, and like the reason I went over time was because, of course, I was having fun, but also I was in the groove of some boulders, and I was really feeling like I was getting good value from what I was trying. And I always advocate for this in training. But there is also an element of having to balance out, like, okay, I do have to conserve some energy for the next day of training. And I think maybe if I just shaved off like even just 10 minutes in each of the sessions of bouldering, I would have had a bit more energy in the tank for the campus session, which was just so blah, probably the most blah session that we've had so far on this program. But actually, this workout went pretty decently. I think because I didn't expend so much energy, I had a bit more to play with in the workout, and I'm been really happy with the progress we've been making with all of our exercises, and I've been able to push the weights quite well. And I also had like a little bit of extra rest since we went from block shot push laga to rows block, which I think also helped with this good workout. But man, I'm happy with the progress we've been making with these exercises, especially just because we've been super consistent. I have made a very strong effort to not skip any workouts and be very consistent about them, and it is really paying off. And that's just like the key to workouts, honestly, in general, and just trying to make steady progress with your exercises is just don't skip workouts. While I do advocate for like skipping workouts on a day where you just really don't want to be at the gym and you really just want to go home, I think it's very healthy to just ditch the gym sometimes when you really, really just need to take a day off. But at the end of the day, if you are looking for consistent, steady progress, just sticking with it and really trying to not skip workouts will get you the results that you want to see. But the point of like skipping the workouts on the days that you need it is that I think the mental side of training is more important than the physical side. So while the answer to the question of how am I going to physically, make the progress that I want to, not skipping workouts is the way to go. In my opinion, the mental side and fending off burnout is more important than that in training, and something to have more effort put into. So I will skip workouts when I have to. But we've just been lucky enough to not have too many of those days where I just have wanted to ditch the gym and completely skip training in this entire program, honestly. And I think just having the World Cup to train for and chase has been like the catalyst for not wanting to ditch the gym. And I like I'm also a bit OCD, and I like to keep a bit of a clean record as well. So it's very satisfying for me to look back and say, yeah, I really did that whole training program perfectly. So that's like a healthy bit of motivation, rather than like a toxic mindset of, oh man, if I don't do this workout today, I'm going to be a failure and I'm going to be weak and terrible and I'm not working hard. So having something to chase and to strive for, I think, is a bit of a healthier mindset, which I've been adopting lately. And anyway, I was thinking about that today, so I decided to share it. But anyway, here we are at the end of the episode, so let's jump into the tip of the day now. So for today's tip of the day, we're going to be talking about a pretty simple idea, and one that I can't necessarily take credit for myself. I mentioned earlier in the video that the setter of this boulder was watching me climb this, and he told me to give this a try, and it worked. So this is going to be Chris's tip of the day and not necessarily mine. And this is the idea of, I guess we could call it like an offset drop knee, or maybe a backwards drop knee, reverse drop knee, something like this. But the idea is that we're dropping the knee that is opposite to which hand we're moving in the sequence. So when I first tried this boulder, I instinctively, when I had my left hand on the sloper, tried to switch my drop knees and drop my right knee down, because this is normally what we would do when I want to move my right hand, right? I would drop my right knee so that I'm like rotating with the arm that's moving. But while that is like typically standard, and if I was able to rotate my knee well, I think it would work for this move. But the difficult part was actually like rotating out of the left knee into the right. So it was really difficult to do that. So the idea with this reverse drop knee is, okay, let's take that really cruxy switch of our knees dropping out of the equation and just simply move my right hand to this crimp with my left knee dropped, which kind of feels off balance and a bit weird, but it really works. It's maybe like slightly less effective than if my right knee was dropped, but like we said, in the scenario, it's too difficult to drop my right knee. But what it's doing is it's using the fundamental idea of a drop knee, right? And the whole point of a drop knee is to really suck our hips nice and close to the wall and help bring our weight like super underneath us, make whatever holds we're grabbing a lot better. In this case, by bringing our hips and our center of gravity really low and close to the wall, we turn this left hand sloper from an impossible feeling hold to something we can kind of hold on to. So we actually can achieve the same effect by just dropping our left knee, right? We're achieving the hips in, sinking low, turning this hold a bit better. And while it's a little bit less comfortable and we kind of have to snag into the right hand crimp, what it's doing is it's still achieving the effect of putting our hips close to the wall, taking weight off our arms to make the move easier. So the moral of the story is, with this tip of the day, consider like when you're in like a very cruxy situation with drop knees, you don't necessarily need to be dropping the knee that you're moving the same hand with. And if the situation is similar to this, try moving out of like, you know, the opposite knee dropped as the hand that's moving. And yeah, this is something I basically learned today. So thanks to Chris for setting this move and giving me the advice. And he is credited for this tip of the day. So yeah, that's the end of the episode. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Insert catchy video outro here.